the complete breakdown of the second coming of Jesus Christ. Some of us think we're strong. Some of us think that we can never be taken by Satan. But the Word of God says this. What does the Word of God say? The Word of God says that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. But the way of the wicked seduces them. What does that mean? That you are subject to being seduced by the devil. Do everybody understand that? No matter how strong you think you is, no matter how you may say never, you're still subject of being seduced by the devil. How do you know you're subject of being seduced by the devil? As long as there's sin within your members, that was the devil seducing you. As long as we are displeasing God and we're doing things that's not pleasing to God, that's the devil present in your life, seducing you. And what the devil gonna make you believe? That it's all right. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Do everybody understand that? But we're gonna find out when the second coming of Jesus Christ, when he returns on this planet Earth, we're gonna know that there's plenty wrong with doing wrong. Because the Lord our God shall bring every work into judgment, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So verifying, getting the scriptures to open up to us through the Spirit of Christ is only gonna make us what? More fearful of doing right. More fearful of doing wrong, because you know that Jesus Christ can show up at any time. And at the time he show up, you know that he's true to his word. That every work is coming into judgment. Every good thing and every bad thing. Every secret thing with every known thing. So why is God bringing this now? Why is he going to cause his spirit to come down tonight? In order for you to understand the scriptures, what does the Bible say? That Jesus Christ has to open up your understanding so that you can understand these scriptures. His hand is going to touch everybody in this room tonight. Everybody. I don't care how old, how young, everybody. Do everybody understand that? Everybody. Everybody. Because the time is now. The time ain't not to. We ain't in a time where you have time not to understand. See, when Christ come back, you can't tell him, Lord, I didn't understand. He's responsible for making you understand. So he's going to know that you understood everything. Christ said, if I had not come unto them, they had no cloak, which is a covering for their sin. But being that I have come, they have what? Now there's nothing. There's nothing that they can cover for their sins. So if Jesus Christ never showed up, then the people could have continued sinning, and they could have said, we didn't know. But being that he showed up and told them himself, how you going to say you didn't know? He told you himself. When we read the Bible, what is the Bible? The Bible is a record of Jesus Christ's life in the flesh and in spirit. When you read the Bible, you find out that Jesus Christ is the God of the Bible. He's been talking from the very beginning through the prophets, and then he was manifested in the flesh. And he's still talking now. So I don't know is not an option when Christ returns. Now it's time to get right. The time is now. Do everybody understand that? Read that one more time.
Proverbs 3 verse 5.
Come on.
Trust in the Lord.
Do what?
Trust in the Lord.
Read on.
With all thine heart.
With what?
All thine heart.
Read on.
And lean not.
And do what?
Lean not.
Read on.
Unto thine own understanding.
What is that saying? Don't allow your mind to trick you. What did the Lord already tell us in the book of Isaiah chapter 55 and 8? My ways are not your ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways so far above your way. Don't you ever think that you're going to do something that God said you ain't supposed to do, and God is going to understand that. See, that's how Satan gets you. That's how he got you. You start hearing words like the Lord understands that. God tells us what he understands. And what he understands is he gave no man a license to sin. What is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law of God. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that? So do not lean on your own understanding, but trust in every word of God. Let's go from there and get the book of Leviticus, the book of Luke chapter 24. Actually, Luke chapter 23. Let's look at that. The book of Luke chapter 23. Christ showed us what we need to do in order for us to be able to make it, just make it in this world that we are living in now. Just make it to see his face when he returns again shortly. This is what we need to do. His whole life that he lived in the flesh came up to this point. Came up to this point to show the children of Israel after he left, this is the same spirit that we're supposed to be following while we are left here on the earth, still in the world. Luke chapter 23, verse 46. Read that for me.
And when Jesus had cried with a loud voice,
read on.
He said,
come on.
Father.
What did he say?
Father.
Read on.
Into thy hands.
Into what?
Thy hands.
Read on.
I commend.
I do what?
I commend.
Read on.
My spirit.
What did he do? He gave his life over to God the Father. He wasn't afraid to go back into the hands of God the Father. He wasn't afraid to put the circumstances in the hand of God the Father. He wasn't afraid of that. So when he said everything is in your hands, in other words, he's sitting up there and he's hanging up there on the cross in a whole lot of pain. And what he's saying is, God the Father, if it's your will that I be in pain for more hours, for more days, for more weeks, then whatever you will is in your hands. Whatever you want to do with me on this cross, you ain't taking my spirit, because what did he already say? Why hast thou forsaken me? But then he said, you know what? Whatever you want. You want me to go through this for longer? Then whatever you want. It's your decision what you want to do with my life. Why? Because my life is a sacrifice. How many of us really know that? This is what Christ left for us to follow. It is God the Father's decision what he want to do with your life, because your life is a sacrifice. When you go to the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 1, what does it say? That we have to present our bodies as what? Get the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 1. The book of Romans chapter 12, verse 1. The harsh reality that most brothers don't understand and most sisters that don't understand, coming into the truth, accepting the calling that God has called you in this day and time that we are living in now. You're the first fruits, the ones of you that are rooted in good ground. You're the first fruits among many brothers and sisters. You're the ones that God is going to use, if you continue in the faith, to harvest this whole planet Earth of Israelites. And you still are trying to save your life. Your life is over. When God called you, you no longer have no life. He called you for his will, for his purpose, to harvest the rest of the nation of Israel all over this planet. And what did he say? He said, prepare yourself. When you come to serve the Lord, do what? Prepare yourself. Because he don't do a shock treatment on you. He lets you gradually understand these facts. And then what happens? The time comes where God just take you by the Spirit, and take you from one spot to the next. You go to sleep in America and you wake up in New Zealand. This happened with y'all laughing. This happened with men of God in the Bible. They were taken by the Spirit from one place to the next. You know why? Because time is short. Ain't no time to book a flight. You think it's time to book a flight? Argue before you go to hell? Ain't no time for that. Ain't no time for that. The sooner we understand that we are sacrificed for Christ, the better off we're going to be, because Christ is going to use you. And then if you don't want to be used, if you want to run, if you don't want to do what Christ has called you to do, then he left all the examples in the Bible for you to follow. He left all the examples of the Bible for you to learn from. He told you everything that's going to happen. Jonah ran from the work of God and ended up in hell. Hell. The scripture says he was in the belly of hell. You ain't hell? You swallowed whole by a whale. Whole. For 3 days and 3 nights. And there were some long days and nights. And he don't know he's going to be vomited up. He don't know that. He's just sitting there in the belly of hell. Do everybody understand that? Give me Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Read that for me, please.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren,
come on,
by the mercies of God,
read on,
that ye present your body.
That you do what?
Present your body.
Read on.
A living sacrifice.
Yeah, a sacrifice that's alive. When it's time for God to use you, no excuses. The time is now. What is God going to use you for? God is going to use you to learn. What does he want you to learn? He wants you to learn of him. Jesus Christ said, learn of me, for I am lowly and I am meek. Now it's time for God to use you. Use you for what? To teach.